Hello, and welcome back on another episode of Farming Simulator 25. Still February morning. We have quite a bit of stuff to do, mostly in selling these wood planks and beams here. Before we start that, let's take a quick look at our contracts and see if there's anything that we can do. We have some deadwood, plowing. Plowing seems interesting. Kind of a small field. Rock removal still a little bit far away. Sewing and wood transport. The sewing one looks like it'll be pretty quick and it's a decent payday, so let's grab that one. We will of course borrow the items. And let's hop over here and get that all set up. It's a nice little tractor. I don't think I've ever used that seeder before, or is it a planter? And to be perfectly honest, I'm glad I haven't used it because it looks really small. Man, it would take forever with this. Switch that to cotton, I believe it was. I think cotton is the only thing we can, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to make so many trips. Alright, we need to go to field 13, create job, and start. If necessary, I'll go down there with my little trailer, throw the seeds in there, and drive it out so I can refill. I think that's gonna take a while. Alright, so the big question is, should I drive my forklift up to the sawmill, or should I just drive the tractor up there? I'd prefer the forklift, only because it's so much easier to load trailers. But it's oh so slow. It's a good thing it's not very far away, but my goodness. Alright, to save you from the slow progress as we make it up to the sawmill, I'll just jump cut until we're there. Alright, here we are over at the sawmill. I'm going to go ahead and start loading all of these small planks onto the red trailer. Then I'm going to bring the red trailer down to the farm, load the small planks there as well. Sell them probably at the carpenter. Then I'll come back, load the big long planks and the wood beams onto the black trailer, and sell those at the temple. I'll do all of that obviously in the time lapse because it's going to take quite a while. So I'll see you when we're done. Welcome back. That was a rather long time lapse of just loading up pallets. Maybe longer than the lettuce one on the last episode, but I do believe this one will pay a lot more. Alright, let's see what we get here. Wow, 228,000. Almost 229,000. Let's see how many more pallets this temple spawn point needs. Well, it has 33,000 pallets of long planks out of a required 475,000. So, I think it's going to be a while before I remotely come close to filling this place up. It hasn't moved on to its next stage because I don't have cement bags to turn in. It needs 6,000 right now to progress to the next stage. But that's going to have to wait a little bit until I can afford to place down a cement factory and start bringing them over. Pretty nice payday. We're up to $662,500 right now, so that definitely gives me the money I need to not only expand the farm and buy that one plot of land. Let's do that right now. So 29 is the one I was looking to get. That should be empty right now. Something is growing there. Oh my god, they planted cotton again. It means they planted it right now. Whatever. I'm still buying it, and I'm gonna freaking rip it apart and plant something else in next month. Yes, I would like to buy it. This means, oh, let me check. We've completed our contract, but I want to see if anything else popped up. There's a couple plowing ones. You know what? I am gonna go ahead and do this. One, it's gonna give me a really powerful tractor, and two, I think I have enough stuff to do this episode. I'm gonna be here for a while. So now let's hop over to the store, enter the vehicle, plus the cash from that. It's going to be pretty nice as well. And that's the one right over here next to it. So let's get this started, and I'm going to slow down the time a little bit. That'll give us plenty of time to make sure that it actually does get done. Then what I want to do is I'm going to need... Actually, this one, let me just have it drive back home. Set destination. Alright. And there was the other one, this one. We can drop this off. And let's see how strong this one is. This has only got 155 horsepower, so it obviously hasn't been upgraded. Alright, so now what I want to do is, when that tractor gets back home, I'm going to throw the cultivator on it. I'm going to go ahead and cultivate the new field we just bought that has cotton planted into it, and we will kindly get rid of it. And what I'm going to do now is, I think it's in here. I'm looking for that plow. Did it get moved into plows? Oh, it actually did get moved into the plow section. Nice. And so this requires 260 horsepower to actually make work. 320 and 340. But I believe it should still work if I buy it and throw it onto this one. Now if it doesn't work on this one, my little white tractor has 225 horsepower, which is significantly more than this one, and then I'll just swap over to that and extend that grass field. What I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and prep all of the fields that I need. We're planting. Whoopsies. Guess I was riding that shoulder a little too aggressively there. I'd like to prep all of our fields for planting in March. I think I'm going to go ahead and plant oats in all 3 of them. That will give us more grain, and that definitely can go to my grain mill, which is what I want and need. I'm thinking that I might also have enough income to support some chickens now, especially since I'm planting grain, I think, in pretty much every field. So if that happens, I for sure want to be able to get some chickens and use some of our grain to keep them fed and make some eggs. Still have 380,000 after we purchase that plot of land. That should be more than enough to buy the combine, and that's our next major purchase. Once I can purchase that combine and know for sure that I am able to harvest all the fields that I've planted, then the next purchase after that is going to be our large tractor, and then we no longer have to worry about trying to find a contract tractor to get some stuff done. So this field right here, number 1 off to our left, is going to be definitely planted with oats. And then the 2 new fields we bought, those are going to be decent sized as well. So March is going to be a pretty busy month, I believe. Especially since I'm looking to plant this field. I'm going to have to, well, let's see, where is my tractor? Nice, got moved over here. I'll bring one of these trailers back up to the sawmill in a little bit. Just gonna move it out of the way real quick. Alright, what I'm gonna do now is I gotta throw a winch on. I gotta move some more of these trees out of the way so I can at least start expanding that field. I don't think I'm going to bring them all the way up to the sawmill. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stage them, I think, just over here to the right a little bit on this road. That way I can bring them up later, or maybe even to my smaller sawmill on our yard. Only because our current, our medium sawmill, or I guess I really should call it our large sawmill. I don't think I'll ever buy the one on the map. It's just too far away. It's already full, and it still has trees just sitting there waiting to be taken. But I definitely do want to clear those trees out of the way, expand the grass field, and then start doing that real quick. Because I'm going to have to expand it, I'm going to have to lime it, I am going to have to, I don't think I'll have to fertilize it. I did waste some fertilizer on the grass field earlier, thinking that it would have one more growth, not realizing that it doesn't grow in the winter. You know, you live and you learn. Now I know, which makes this a perfect time to, you know, to be honest, to tear it up and extend it a little bit since it's not growing right now anyway. I did cut down some of those really tiny trees. I wish I would have just deleted them instead of cutting them. Let's see if I can do that now or in just a little bit. Alright, once again, I'm going to go ahead and do this on a time lapse. Welcome back. Looks like I went ahead and finished plowing of this entire field. I'm just doing a quick run around, making sure I don't miss any spots. I think I am going to have to soften this field up a little bit. Yeah, it does get pretty rough climbing up the hill. If I soften it a little bit and just kind of make it so it's not quite so steep in certain areas, I think that will help. It'd definitely make it easier to cut the grass and bale it. Alright, looks like I didn't miss any spots, so we'll go ahead and put this plow away. It was really quick, and the only thing I could imagine is if I had a tractor strong enough to pull the plow that's twice as wide as this one. That would have been so much faster. And this tractor wasn't quite strong enough to go uphill, so definitely slowed almost half, a little more than half in some spots. But once I have all my equipment, then I think everything will get a little bit easier. Go ahead and place this right next to the hoe, which I still think I don't need. Nothing's grown weeds yet, which is insane to me. Just for my own paranoia, I will go look one more time. I don't know how many times I've looked for weeds. So it looks like 26, wherever the grass field was originally, that has fertilizer. Once I lime it, I'm going to try to fertilize the area that is new. And I tried to round some of the corners a little bit so it's easier to kind of move around it. What I will do really quick while I'm here is I will soften that up just right now before I go over there. Whatever loads. That first time loading the construction per game is always just a little bit slower. Alright, once again I'm going to go ahead and do this on a time lapse. Welcome back. Alright, let's see if I can just fill in some of these gaps here a little bit. Using quite a bit, but oh well. It's not as though lime is terribly expensive. Let's load up the last time, and then I will go ahead and put this away. In order to save you the trip to the store and back, I'll meet you back at the farm after I reload my lime and grab my trailer and park everything back in its place. Alright, here we are back at the farm. Looks like the cultivating job is done. Yeah, so let's go do this. Let's turn in one of all the sowing contracts. So that should be 12,000. That is awesome. And then why don't I go ahead and grab this tractor and put everything away. Now it looks like this is already fully fertilized, which is nice. So it's ready to be planted, I guess. We'll double check in just a little bit and make sure that the previous owner didn't miss anything. Really should start moving some of my stuff out of the way. I always feel bad kind of doing that on camera though, because not as though it's terribly exciting. I'd much rather, I guess, do it off camera, and that way it's, you know, it's where it needs to be and nobody had to sit there and watch me slowly put stuff away. Alright, let's take a quick look at that field. So, none of my fields have any weeds, including 29, which we just did. It is fully fertilized and prepped. Nothing needs lime, I don't think. Yep, everything's fully limed, except I guess there was some damage there. Well, we'll have to deal with that later. I need to also plant grass, field 26. March as well. So March is going to be pretty busy. A lot of planting. We're almost done with the plowing contract. Looks like that's just about done. We got 91%. That's awesome. Well, while we're waiting for the plowing to finish, I might as well go ahead and bring our trailer back up to the sawmill. There'll be one more thing we can get out of here. And what I might do is I might park that small John Deere tractor up at the sawmill as well, so I can load pallets with it. It is not as easy to use as the forklift, but the forklift takes a while to drive up here, at least until I'm able to buy the entire package that comes with that forklift, which I would love to have, but not until we get our tractor and combine. We have another small plank pallet, but we'll just leave that there to keep stacking until next time. That's pretty quick. It's 98% of the way done. Well, by the time I get back to the farm, it should be finished. It's a lot of trees staged right over here at the end of this road, but that's good. I'll be able to fill up the sawmills. I threw one log into our smaller one here anyway. One of the things I have been thinking about is this land right here along the road next to the silo. It's a pretty steep hill, and I'm pretty tempted to landscape it so that way it's kind of flat and turn it into a little bit extra yard. That way I have some things to park there or stage there, and it's not just kind of wasted, you know, hill. That would be a big landscaping job. Alright, looks like they finished the contract. Go ahead and turn it in for an extra $15,000. That's awesome. And I think that will be the end of the episode. We'll be moving on into March on the next episode. So let's check out our finances. February, we spent $17,000 on new vehicles. That would be the plow I just bought. Spent $265,000 on new land. $198 in production costs so far. We sold so many wood pallets and then lettuce pallets and mushrooms in the previous episode. That was also early February. We made a total of $432,000 from that. If every February turns out to be something like that or more, that's going to be phenomenal. And we made $29,769 in contract income. We spent $1,841 on wage payments for the contract workers. And once again, I have a miscellaneous expense for $1,350, which is half of what the last one was. I still don't know what that is. I don't have anything no leasing, so you know I can't do that. That shouldn't be costing me money. I'm not sure what that's from. I wasn't able to figure out the previous expense for that. Maybe this time I will. Alright, we have a total of $407,000 just sitting in the bank. We still have some spinach to sell, but we'll sell that in March at its highest price. Why not? We can afford to wait. We're going to continue stacking pallets and try to sell them at their best time, unless we just need the influx of cash to buy something. But as of right now, I think we're doing pretty good. Alright everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Have a great day.